Good evening, everyone, and welcome to MSUFCU's Financial Education Seminar Series. We appreciate you all joining us and are excited to be here with you virtually this evening. These presentations were created with you in mind, with the intention to give financial education on a number of relatable topics to help expand your knowledge of finances. Each event will be hosted by a member of our financial education department or one of our partners, connecting you with resources in our community. We have a number of diverse presentations planned for you this year, and you can explore and register for them by visiting us at msufcu.org/events. Tonight's event is being recorded. To rewatch or share the presentation, you can go to youtube.com/MSUFCU and then select MSUFCU Seminar Series from the playlist options. The recordings are usually available within a few weeks of the events. We will have time after the presentation to address any questions submitted to the Q&A, and that segment will not be recorded. You may send your inquiries at any time during the event by using that Q&A function at the bottom of your Zoom screen. And we'll also provide some additional information and resources in the chat, but please reserve the Q&A panel for your questions. And actually, Wes might be posing some other questions to you during the presentation, so you can feel free to answer those through the Q&A as well. So tonight we have two amazing guests, the co-founders of our latest fintech partner, Reset, joining us to present on how this amazing new product can help you along your financial journey. Allow me to introduce our hosts, Wes and Matt. Welcome to the both of you, and thank you so much for joining us. Why don't you introduce yourselves to our audience? Tell us a little bit, about Reset and how you got into that. What was that great idea that sparked this? And then we can lead right into your presentation this evening.
Okay, perfect. And thanks very much, Therese, for the introduction. As I go through the presentation, I'll also introduce Matt and the Reset team. But just to start, hey everyone, my name is Wes Rodriguez. So I'm the co-founder and COO of Reset, and I'm super excited to be talking to you all today. Just as a quick brief intro about Reset. So we are a public benefit corporation, meaning our mission to help people is literally part of our company charter. We partnered with MSUFCU to make the Reset Visa card available to both MSUFCU employees and members. And through our card, we provide you with free daily access to your income alongside automated cash flow budgeting. The Reset card basically makes it easier to cover everyday and emergency expenses without needing to wait for payday, and to also help you build savings with each paycheck. And so excited to talk to you today about streamlining your finances, how the Reset card can help. And along the way, I'll also be sharing research and learnings about finances that informed the product that we built. And so to start, just wanted to share a little bit more about the founders and the founding team. So we all have personal connections to the mission. Our CEO, Matt, comes from a multi-generational blue-collar family. Myself and our CTO, Brian, are both first-generation Americans. And we know what it's like to come from families and communities that are striving for more while making do with less. We built Reset with that in mind, and with a focus on how we can create products that really improve financial health. Our team also has extensive experience in financial services. So Matt was at Visa, where he led initiatives in payments and payroll products. Brian was an early engineer at a fintech company called Upstart, which he helped grow to and through IPO. And I started my career on Wall Street and then transitioned to corporate finance and M&A. In addition to that, Matt was an entrepreneur in residence at the Financial Health Network, which I'll be talking a little bit more about shortly. And then I also have experience with nonprofits at various levels of the organization, but nonprofits that serve lower income communities. So through our professional and personal experiences, our team has thought a lot about finances and financial health, which we'll get into right now. So let's talk about financial health. What is it and how we measure it? And this is a question I wanted to start off with. If folks in the chat can just enter in what you think or what you would define as financial health, would love to see what your responses are. So we'll probably just take like 30 or 60 seconds on that. And there's no right or wrong answer either. So I think I see bills being paid on time, no outstanding debt, and comfort. Really, really great answer. Okay, I see another one. It's when you have enough to survive and thrive throughout life and can leave generational wealth to family, as well as giving to charity. Love that as well. Being able to have the ability to give to others, managing your finances well, how much you have saved up, putting money up for retirement. So yeah, these are all great answers. And we'll go into this in a little bit more detail now, actually. So I want to talk to you about the Financial Health Network and a framework they have. So the Financial Health Network is a leading research authority on financial health in the US, and it's dedicated to improving the well-being of individuals and families. And they've basically created a systematic way to measure financial health. It's basically a short 8-question survey, and it measures financial health across 4 key dimensions: saving, spending, borrowing, and planning. And basically what it looks to do is understand, are people doing all of these things in a way that will enable them to be resilient, pursue opportunities, and also have healthier financial futures. Now, this framework has had a very significant influence on how we think about designing products at Reset, and also how we think about the impact of the Reset Visa card. And Reset is actually designed to help with each of these dimensions, which I'll cover in more detail throughout the presentation. But just to kind of start like talking about it, by providing daily access to a portion of your income when you need it without interest or fees, the Reset card actually gives you additional spending power to cover bills and other critical expenses. And because automated budgeting functionality is actually embedded into the card spending limit, it really enables you to spend less than your income, and it helps you to better save and financially plan for your future and with more confidence. So now that we have an understanding of like what financial health is and how we measure it, I wanted to talk about research that we've done, and also research from our cardholders about the current economy and impact on financial health for many Americans. And the short of it is that finances are tough for many people in this country. So high inflation has increased the cost of living for everyday essentials, from groceries, gas, housing, and utilities, and it's really constraining budgets. And that can be especially tough during the holidays, as you think about spending time with loved ones and purchases that you may need to make for travel or even gifts. The other thing that we're seeing is that wages are lagging behind. So, despite rising costs, wage growth has remained relatively stagnant for many workers, especially those in lower income or middle income brackets. And if you're on Social Security or other government benefits, while these do have annual cost of living adjustments, over the past decade, the annual increases have only averaged about 1.5%. And so these have also lagged behind inflation. And so these rising costs and slower growth in income means that budgets and savings are getting squeezed. And it's especially challenging to actually cover emergency and unexpected expenses. And so we have a situation where nearly 60% of Americans actually can't cover $500 in an emergency. And so the net effect is that a majority of Americans are actually struggling right now. So you have 65% are living paycheck to paycheck in 2024. And this is actually up from 58% in 2023. And of those making more than 100K annually, nearly 50% are also living paycheck to paycheck. And now this partly depends on where you live and what the cost of living is in your area. But I think it's clear that the issue cuts across various income levels. So it's not only affecting those who are lower income, but it's also affecting those who you might typically think of or consider as higher income as well. And so to make ends meet while waiting for payday, people resort to a variety of fallback options given just the state of the economy. And where you end up in terms of those options really depends on one important factor, and that factor comes down to whether you have access to traditional credit cards or not. So, if you don't have access to traditional credit cards, it might be that you have a secured credit card, meaning you had to put down a security deposit, which then becomes the spending limit on your card. Or maybe you only have a debit card, and so you really only have access to what's in your bank account. And if you don't have a traditional credit card, it could be because maybe you're earlier in your financial journey. Either you're a little bit younger or you just started college. Maybe you haven't had a chance to build your credit yet. Or you made some challenges and mistakes with credit and then need to rebuild and start over. So if you do have a credit card, and you're trying to make ends meet, one way to do that is really to just put it on the credit card. And that can be fine, but where you start to run into challenges is if you're covering expenses with the credit card, but you're not actually able to pay it off each month. So basically, you're revolving the balances. And that can become problematic, especially in recent years, because credit card interest rates have soared to record levels, currently at 23%. And so if you're not paying off your credit card balance, it can actually result in really hard to break cycles of debt. Now, if you don't have a traditional credit card and you're trying to make ends meet, there are other situations that you may also find yourself in that are challenging. So one may be predatory loans. So expensive and predatory loan alternatives like payday loans or check cashing services, these can have interest rates that range from 300 to 500% and even higher in some states. You may also find yourself in situations where you're incurring overdraft. So your bank account's going negative, basically a last resort to cover expenses. But you can wind up in situations where you have a hefty, $30 to $35 fee per transaction, or there may be instances where, there's a daily fee until the shortfall in your account is covered. And then another situation or a final situation is just simply not paying the bills at all or paying the bills late. And that can result in late fees, accrued interest, or even worse. It could mean having utilities shut down or even possibly getting evicted. And so these are not financially sustainable paths, and they can have a really significant and negative impact on your financial health. And so with all of these interest and fees, the net result is that Americans are actually paying a lot, literally billions annually in interest and fees. And what's even tougher is that financially vulnerable Americans are actually paying 5.5 times more for everyday financial services than financially healthy Americans. And so, as our team kind of looked at the state of the economy and finances, we thought to ourselves, there just simply has to be a better way to do this. There has to be a better way to make ends meet, to improve finances, and to build savings. And what I'll share with you today is that the secret really lies with your income. So the income you earn is your most important financial transaction. Whether you're an hourly worker, salaried, gig worker, or you receive government benefits such as Social Security income, you know, all of the ways that I talked about, all of the items that I talked about in the prior slide are ways that people basically bridge in between paydays while they're waiting for your money. And it can get really expensive. Even traditional cards, credit cards are a bridge between paydays because, when your statement comes due, how do you pay it off? Well, it's going to be with the income from your wages or from government benefits. So all of this to say that your income is incredibly important and actually the most important financial transaction that you have. Now, a key part of the problem is the typical 2-week pay cycle for many workers, or if you're on Social Security, the 4-week cycle. It really restricts financial flexibility. And these pay cycles really started out of necessity when things were much more manual, like, punching time cards, collecting the time cards, maybe even using pen and paper to calculate your pay and ensure that it's accurate. But the technology has changed, and so the process should also change. Just because something has been a certain way for a long time doesn't mean that it should stay that way. And so there is this realization that ongoing access to your income, can actually serve as a really modern way, an effective way to bridge you in between paychecks. It ensures that you're spending within your means by only using money that you've already earned. And it can really help you avoid expensive bridge credit loans or other types of alternative loans that can really push you into cycles of debt. And studies have also shown that increased pay frequency actually has the ability to reduce the use of payday loan and bank overdraft by up to 95%, and can help you save much more and build savings by avoiding costly fees. So it got us thinking, what if you could actually get daily access to your income for free? Well, to start, we already live in an on-demand world. People are now used to instant access to services and products. We live in a world where with an app, you can literally hail a ride or order dinner in minutes. And it should be the same with your income, such that you have access to it when you actually need it. And so the thing about daily access to income is that what it really ends up doing is it's really just aligning how you get paid with how you already live and spend. It makes it much more fluid. The other benefit here of income smoothing is that it gives you much more flexibility to buy bills, to pay bills, to buy groceries, handle emergencies, cover those expenses when you need to, without resorting to costly borrowing. Additionally, with this, you are avoiding fees and interest and avoiding debt. It basically allows you to pay bills on time as they arise, avoid late fees, overdraft charges. You're less likely to rely on high interest loans to make ends meet. And the net effect of all of this is that it's empowering, right? So by making income more flexible and accessible, you have more control over your finances, and you're able to more confidently plan for your financial future. Now, income and income smoothing is a key part of the solution, but it's not all of it. Budgeting is also super important. And as you saw in the financial health slide earlier, a key dimension of financial health is actually spending less than your income. And so that raised another question for us and our team. What if, we know budgeting is important. Could we make it really easy? What if we could actually automate budgeting as you spend? And so you'll see here, this is an exhibit from the CFPB, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, a government agency, and their best practice recommendation for budgeting. It's something that they called cash flow budgeting. And what that is, it's really all about tracking the timing of your income and your expenses to make sure that you have enough from week to week. Now, so we know budgeting is important. We have a government agency telling us this is how you do it. But budgeting can be stressful. It's frustrating. It can be time consuming, especially if you're doing it on pen and paper or in a spreadsheet, which can be extremely manual. And then there are some budgeting apps that have made this more efficient, but even these budgeting apps today are still very much reactive and backward looking. And what I mean by that is that they're much more focused on what you've already spent historically, and they're not really as well designed for helping you in the moment on what you can actually afford to spend. Meaning, like, should you pay a little bit more for that entree at dinner, or is it does it make sense to actually purchase, these shoes right now? But what if you actually didn't have to think as much about all of that? Because what if you could afford to spend was distilled down to a single number that already took into account the income that you've already earned this pay cycle, and that also ensures that a portion of your paycheck is already being saved. What if this single number also factored in your upcoming bills before payday, and it knew about that phone bill that was due tomorrow, or that pharmacy prescription payment from Walgreens that you would pay in a couple days? And then what if this single number you knew was also tied to the spending limit on your card? And it was a number that you could quickly check on the go whenever you needed. Basically, a card that could help put cash flow budgeting on autopilot for you. And what's really cool is that the innovation is here. That's actually made it possible to combine these two things, meaning daily access to income and automated budgeting into a card experience. We've basically entered a third era of technology. Now this cash flow timing issue isn't new, but what I will say is that prior attempts to solve it haven't really been sufficient, and it really comes down to two reasons. The first reason is that financial help, or like access to your funds, was not really coupled with tools for holistically managing your finances. They were totally disconnected. So in those situations, you're still left financially struggling, because without a holistic focus on your finances, access to funds is really just a short-term fix. It's a Band-Aid solution. It's not a long-term solution. The other core issue here was the way that financial help has been structured in the past. So, in that first wave, with bank overdraft and payday loans, it's more so about punishments, right? It kind of puts you between a rock and a hard place, meaning, if you overdrafted your bank account because you needed to cover a bill, too bad, you were hit with a fee. If you needed a payday loan, you could get it, but it's going to come with really high predatory fees. So you're still left in a bad place financially. The second wave of products, much more well-meaning, but where they still fall short is that they still don't have that tie-in to your holistic financial picture, meaning you could still cash advance your way into being short on rent if you're not keeping track of your budget. And 2-day early pay timing doesn't always line up with when your bills are due. So you could still end up with a negative balance or a late fee. And so this new era of technology really resolves both of those issues. It allows us to combine income and banking data into one product to give you a really holistic financial picture of your finances, one that continually updates based on earnings and spending data. It basically makes it the equivalent of a financial GPS, helping you better navigate financial situations as they arise, but also in the moment. And so with that, let me actually introduce the Reset product. I've shared kind of how we thought about the economy and how we thought about how we can improve financial health. So, with Reset and the Reset Visa card, by providing you with free daily access to your income, the card is designed to help you cover everyday and emergency expenses without waiting for payday. And with automated budgeting literally built into the card spending limit, it's helping you build savings with each paycheck. We support W-2 income for salary and hourly workers, gig workers, U.S. military members, and also government benefit income, including Social Security. And so when you sign up for Reset and you connect your payroll or your income data, we're able to see how much you're earning on a daily basis and actually give you access to a portion of it as you earn it for free. So true daily access to your pay. You don't have to wait 2 weeks or 4 weeks if you're on Social Security. There's no credit check. There is no security deposit, and it works with your existing MSUFCU checking account. And the application process is super easy and simple. It only takes minutes. You simply connect your payroll and MSUFCU checking account to Reset, but then complete identity verification, and then just set up your repayment structure. Approved cardholders immediately receive a virtual card that they can be used same day for purchases, whether online purchases, or it can also be added to Apple Pay and Google Pay for in-store purchases as well. And the other things that I'll share is that, the spending limit on the card is dynamic. So it's continually updating based on your earned income, upcoming bills you have. It'll look at your checking account balance to see if you need to cover the shortfall from overdraft. It'll also factor in whatever transactions are made on the card. So once again, really distilling your finances into a single number, which you can see in the spending limit on the slide. And a little bit in terms of how it works, when you connect your MSUFCU checking account to Reset, our system will automatically flag recurring bills that you have. So things like phone and utility bills, gym memberships, maybe there's a Netflix subscription or YouTube TV subscription, rent. These items will get factored in. Our app also has alerts that give you a heads up about potential overdraft to your checking account based on upcoming bills. And these are opportunities where, the Reset card can also help. Once again, because you're able to access your income sooner before payday, you can basically cover those bills on the Reset card, allowing you to pay for it with money that you've already earned. So you can make the bill payment on time, but also avoid the overdraft and avoid the late fees. So all of this is really designed to help ensure that you're managing your finances much more effortlessly. And the other thing that I'll call out is that the Reset card grows with you. So the more you earn, the more spending power you actually have on the card. So like, let's say you got a promotion at your job. As soon as that change is effective in the payroll system, our product will actually pick that up and increase your spending limit. We have one card holder, for instance, who from the time she started with Reset to the time that until now, her income has increased $60,000 annually. And that change is reflected in the spending limit on the card. So our card is much more responsive to changes in your income than a traditional credit card. To kind of wrap up here, I want to bring it back to financial health, which I talked about earlier. So once again, the 4 pillars were spending and borrowing, but also saving and planning. And so on spending and borrowing, Reset really helps you pay bills on time and ensures that your spending is less than income. And it also helps you avoid high interest debt and keep your debt level manageable. On the saving and planning front, the card is designed to help you grow savings with each paycheck because it's helping you proactively budget with each paycheck. And by aligning how you earn with how you live and spend, as well as through our app alerts, the goal is to give you tools and resources to help you make more informed financial decisions, plan ahead financially, and do so with much more confidence. There are a couple other slides I just wanted to show. So these we covered already, but Reset helps you save and plan. It's more proactive, not reactive, and there's no catch. So the product is free to you. The way that we're able to make it free to you is in partnership with financial institutions such as MSUFCU. And because we instead make money from merchants every time you use the Reset card to make a purchase. That allows us to keep it free for you. I also wanted to share a quote from a testimonial from one of our cardholders. I don't want you to just take it from me. I want you to hear from them. And this individual said, using the Reset card has been super helpful for budgeting. Essentially, I have been using it for the day-to-day and then allowing the excess from my direct deposit to go into savings. It has been a great overall experience, and using it in this manner allows me to save much more money. And so with this card holder, she's using Reset as an everyday spending card. The spending limit, as we talked about, it only allows our card holder to spend up to a certain percentage of their paycheck, so they're saving, and it also accounts for upcoming bills. So with this card holder, she knows that she's basically saving while she's spending, and this is making managing her finances much more effortless. And so to kind of cap it off, if you're interested in signing up for the Reset card, please check out our website. You can scan the QR code or head to our website directly. As I mentioned, the application process for the card takes minutes. And there's no impact to your credit. It works with your MSUFCU checking account. And lastly, cardholders get access to the Reset card. Approved cardholders get access to the Reset card same day and can use it immediately to start making purchases for expenses that you need to cover. And I'll hand it over back to you, Therese.
Great, thank you. Oh, that's so awesome. Yeah, there was just so much information. I learned a lot. Thank you for that. I had been checking out the website, but it's great to get it right from, the people that created it. We have had a couple questions come through, so we will get to those in just a second. But before we stop the recorded portion of the evening, I just wanted to let everyone else know about some upcoming seminars before you go. Navigating Social Security Retirement on Tuesday, November 15th at 6 p.m. And if area, we also have an estate planning seminar coming up on Wednesday, October 16th. So we hope to see you all at one of those upcoming seminars. Once again, you can scan this code here or go to getreset.co/MSUFCU for the dual branded website. Once again, if you are already a member with us, this is a free resource that we are providing to you. So with that, I'll go ahead and stop recording, and then we can get to some of these questions that people have posed. And once again, if you do have any questions, go ahead and put those into the Q&A. Thanks.